Now, I came up with something I call the Principles of Arts Infusion. I'd like to go through them with you before we go back to Common Core. What is the one adjective that all dropouts use to describe school? Boring. If you are bored, you are by definition emotionally disengaged. What do we sell? Emotion. That's our stock on the shelf. If I can get a kid to feel, I can get them to care. If I can get them to care, I can get them to learn. Second one, respond appropriately to the unanticipated. Anytime you create a work of art, you don't know what it's going to be at the other end. When I was a stage director in the opera business, I would work out my blocking and my staging at home, with my score. And then I walk into rehearsal. And I guarantee you at the end of that rehearsal period, I ended up with something that wasn't exactly like I anticipated I would end up with. Maybe a singer would come up with an idea as we were going through it, and they say, well, what if we did this? It never occurred to me. And I go, yeah, let's do that. Or what if the singer didn't want to do what I had in mind or couldn't? Then I'd have to adjust. What if the conductor was having a tempo that was too fast for what I wanted the singers to do, and he refused to slow down? So one of the things about the arts, especially if you're in theater, through improvisation, intelligently constructed, is that you teach kids how to respond appropriately to the unanticipated. Discovery leads to curiosity. I'd much rather have a kid discover content than to have it delivered to them, because that leads to curiosity. And without curiosity, you have no motivation for lifelong learning. You don't care. You're not interested. So part of our job is to get kids curious about things, curious about the world, curious about relationships, curious about where they live. Okay? Provide a context that motivates interest. It's a dictum in education. You start with what a kid knows. You don't plop content down in front of them without any frame of reference. But I go further. Start with what matters to a kid. Allow opportunity for creative or personal input. Input equals ownership. Ownership equals retention of content. Create a bridge for an understanding of the world and others. Leads to empathy. I would say the majority of behavioral problems in class has to do with a lack of empathy. I don't care. I'm not aware of how you feel. So those two things, curiosity and empathy, we can really address through the arts.